Have you ever found yourself in a situation where someone's actions or mindset just don't make sense? Maybe you've noticed behaviors in certain women that leave you feeling confused, frustrated, or even questioning their judgment. Understanding these signs isn't about being critical. It's about protecting your peace, avoiding unnecessary drama, and making smarter decisions when it comes to the relationships you choose. By the time this video ends, you'll have a clearer understanding that could totally shift the way you approach your interactions moving forward. Welcome to Stoic Monarch, your go-to space for exploring how Stoic philosophy can help you make wiser, more intentional choices in life. Today, we're diving deep into 6 key behaviors that might indicate someone isn't quite aligned with the peace of mind and emotional intelligence you deserve in your relationships. These signs could point to patterns that, if left unchecked, may negatively affect your mental clarity in your future. Before we jump in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, tap the notification bell, and help us hit 1,000 likes. Let's dive right in. Imagine meeting someone new in a completely unfamiliar social setting. At first, everything about her seems flawless. She's fun, attractive, and easy to be around. But as time goes on, small things start adding up, and you begin questioning whether her perspective on life is as sharp as it initially appeared. I'm not talking about conventional intelligence here. I'm talking about key Stoic virtues like emotional intelligence, self-awareness, and the ability to live fully in the present. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca said, "The greatest obstacle to living is expectancy, which hangs upon tomorrow and loses today." The choices you make today, especially in the people you surround yourself with, can have a lasting impact on your tomorrow. Let's take a look at the behaviors that might affect that. 1. She thrives on drama. Have you ever found yourself in a relationship that felt like a never-ending emotional roller coaster? One moment, everything's fine, and the next, you're arguing over something as trivial as a late reply to a text. Before you know it, you're left questioning why things feel so complicated all the time. If you notice someone constantly stirring the pot or seeming to enjoy conflict, it's a major red flag. Some women, just as much as some men, feed off chaos, making situations worse than they need to be. They crave the emotional highs and lows, even when everything else is calm. It's as though they can't go a day without creating some sort of turmoil. But here's the key. A healthy, intelligent relationship isn't meant to be a constant drama show. An emotionally mature woman seeks peace, not conflict. She understands that true strength lies in being calm and composed, not in losing her temper over the little things. Think about your past relationships. Ever been with someone who found fault in almost everything? Maybe she would get upset if you didn't text back within seconds or accuse you of not caring if you hung out with friends. At first it might sting, but after a while it becomes draining. Why does this happen? Because for some people, drama is a way to get attention. If everything is calm, they feel something's missing. They've grown so used to chaos that peace actually feels uncomfortable. And before you know it, you're trapped in a cycle of emotional ups and downs, convincing yourself that this is what love looks like. But if you catch yourself being dragged into her emotional whirlwinds, it's time to stop and ask, is this really the life I want? As Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic philosopher, said, the mind, not external circumstances, is within your control. True power comes from recognizing this. A wise woman knows that love should be a safe refuge, not a constant battle. 2, she can't take responsibility. Imagine this. You're in a relationship that seems to be going well until it doesn't. Maybe it's a small disagreement or something more serious like a communication breakdown. Instead of having an honest conversation, though, she immediately deflects and says, "It's not my fault. You should have known better." Sound familiar? If you've experienced this, you know just how frustrating it is to deal with someone who never owns up to their part in a situation. It's always someone else's fault, whether it's their parents, an ex, or even you. But here's the truth. If someone can't take responsibility for their actions, your relationship will never grow or evolve. We all make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. What separates the wise from the foolish, however, is the ability to recognize when we've messed up, take accountability, and learn from it. As Stoicism teaches, true power comes from self-awareness. Epictetus famously said, "We suffer not from the events in our lives, but from our judgment about them." The key to living a fulfilled life isn't avoiding mistakes, but learning how to handle them. Unfortunately, some women, trapped in a victim mentality, always manage to escape responsibility. There's always someone else to blame. If you stay around this kind of energy, you'll find yourself shouldering blame for things that aren't even your fault. Have you ever been in a relationship where admitting "I was wrong" seemed impossible for the other person? How did it feel? Probably like you weren't being seen or valued. That's because accountability is crucial to any healthy relationship. Owning up to mistakes isn't a weakness. It's a sign of strength. A wise woman recognizes her faults, apologizes when necessary, and strives to improve for the future. Without that level of responsibility, no relationship will thrive. 3. She values materialism over character. Have you ever found yourself in a relationship where your partner seemed more focused on what you could provide than who you actually are? At first, it might feel good to spoil her, buying gifts, taking her on romantic getaways, and enjoying lavish meals together. But after the excitement of expensive presents and extravagant dates fades, you start noticing something's missing. If you've ever been in a relationship where material possessions were prioritized over honesty, integrity, or character, then you know how disheartening this path can become. At first, you may tell yourself it's just her high expectations or that she simply has refined taste and deserves nice things. But deep down, you realize no matter how much you give, you're still not enough. There's always something bigger, better, or more expensive on the horizon for her to desire. And the worst part is, she's never fully satisfied. Have you ever felt like your value was determined only by your bank balance? That's not real love. A wise woman understands that true love is about more than material wealth. She treasures loyalty, emotional depth, and character far more than fancy possessions or extravagant vacations. As the Stoics remind us, happiness isn't something you can buy. In fact, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. When you're with a woman who values integrity and emotional connection over material goods, your efforts will be genuinely appreciated, and the bond will be far more meaningful. 4. She constantly seeks validation. This is a big one. Have you ever been with someone who always seemed to need reassurance when you were around? Maybe you told her how beautiful her outfit was, and then she'd ask for another compliment right after. Or maybe she's always posting on social media, hoping to get that flood of likes and comments to feel validated. It might feel sweet at first, but over time, you realize it's draining. There's never enough attention or love to satisfy her. A woman with low self-esteem constantly seeks affirmation because she's looking for fulfillment in all the wrong places. No matter how many compliments, gifts, or words of encouragement you offer, it will never be enough for her. Have you been in a relationship where you were expected to constantly prove your commitment? Maybe she'd point out that you didn't message enough, or that you hadn't posted enough nice things about her online, or even that you didn't do enough to make her feel valued. The truth is, real love doesn't demand constant approval. A confident woman doesn't need validation all the time. She understands her worth without needing to be told constantly. She knows the love you offer her is genuine, even if it's not always expressed in words. True self-worth comes from within, not from external sources. 5. She can't handle criticism. Ever find yourself carefully choosing your words, only for them to land in the wrong way? It's like you're walking on eggshells trying to avoid triggering an emotional storm. You might offer a simple suggestion like, "Hey, maybe we should try eating healthier." But instead of a calm discussion, you're met with defensiveness, anger, or even resentment. Suddenly, something minor escalates into a big confrontation, leaving you confused about where it all went wrong. For some women, criticism, whether it's constructive or even positive, feels like a personal attack, no matter how well-intentioned. Instead of taking it as an opportunity to reflect and grow, they react emotionally, almost instantly. The words you say aren't processed as feedback, but are filtered through a lens of defensiveness, turning what could be a productive conversation into a confrontation. This often stems from a fear of failure, insecurity, or a lack of emotional resilience. When someone can't separate their sense of self from the feedback they receive, it's hard for them to take anything less than complete praise. This behavior creates a toxic environment where honesty is stifled, because one partner feels attacked every time a suggestion or critique is offered. The relationship becomes less about growth and improvement and more about avoiding any conversation that might trigger an emotional response. Real growth can't happen in a space where vulnerability and honesty are met with defensiveness. 6. She's too emotionally reactive. Have you ever felt like you're constantly walking on eggshells in a relationship, afraid that one wrong word will set off a major emotional reaction? You might mention something as simple as, "I had a long day at work," and suddenly it turns into a full-blown argument. What should be a normal conversation becomes a minefield. This is the reality of being with someone who's emotionally reactive, where even the smallest comment can trigger an intense, unpredictable response. When someone is emotionally reactive, it means they lack control over their feelings. Instead of taking a moment to pause, reflect, and process, they react impulsively, letting their emotions take the wheel. One minute, they might be warm and loving, and the next, they're upset over something minor. This constant emotional fluctuation can be mentally and emotionally exhausting, leaving you on edge, unsure when the next outburst will happen. Living with someone like this creates a tense, unpredictable environment where you're always adjusting your words and actions to avoid triggering a reaction. Honest communication becomes nearly impossible, as any attempt to express yourself can be met with defensiveness, anger, or frustration. Emotional instability in a relationship creates a barrier to deep, meaningful connections because a healthy partnership is built on trust, calm communication, and the ability to navigate conflict in a productive way. Without emotional stability, every conversation feels like a gamble, and you're left constantly questioning where you stand. Self-regulation and emotional stability are essential for any strong, lasting relationship. When those qualities are missing, growth as a couple becomes nearly impossible. To wrap things up, remember that recognizing unhealthy behaviors in others is not about judgment. It's about protecting your peace and making better choices for your future. As Marcus Aurelius said, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. So stay focused, stay wise, and make decisions that align with your Stoic values. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more insights. Keep striving for growth, Stoic monarchs.